Welcome to the squad, Mortal Kombat 2. I'm your host, Jerome. Today with me, I have Ken as my co-host. I got James appearing as our resident Mortal Kombat expert. We're going to be chatting about the pros and cons of the new movie, standout scene, as well as a score out of 10. And I'd also like to make sure we give a little bit about our backgrounds because I know there's kind of coming from three different backgrounds on the Mortal Kombat series. Ken, if you'd like to go ahead.
Sure. So I am the least educated on Mortal Kombat of the team. So I saw the first movie. I know a little bit about the lore, but definitely not as much as Jerome and James. So,
Mhm.
but overall, there were things I liked, there were things I didn't like. I really enjoyed all the action. I thought the action was like very flashy. I thought the fatalities were really well done and exciting. Getting into some of my pros, um, Liu Kang's fight with Kung Lao
Mhm.
was
Yeah.
probably my favorite. And what I liked about all the fights is it felt like every single fight got more intricate and more flashy at the same time. So that was my favorite. My favorite moment, though, is it because it seemed like because you heard like little snippets of the Mortal Kombat theme here and there,
Mhm.
but, when Johnny Cage puts on, like, the glasses and, like, the real, like, full-on Mortal Kombat theme plays, that was, like, my favorite
Mhm.
moment because,
Yeah.
the other times that you heard it, it felt like they were more trying to, like, make it natural and intertwine it with the scene, but again, like, Johnny Cage, of course, representing, like, the audience and being, like, the actor, so I love that was the opportunity for them just to straight up just play, like, the Mortal Kombat theme. I almost felt like meta in a way, so that was, like, my favorite scene. Getting into some negatives, I think I enjoyed the first one more than most people.
Yeah.
Listening just to the community, seems like the community really liked this one more. I'm actually like in the opposite camp on that one. I really loved how Scorpion and Sub-Zero like played into the plot for the first one. So that was like a
Yeah.
huge standout for me, which of course like you get it here, but it just didn't seem as free flowing with the plot as like it did with the first one.
Yeah.
And actually, to speak on Johnny Cage again, for me, he didn't work as much as he needed to. I feel, and I'm not sure if it was Carl Urban. I don't know if it's the way the writer or if how he was written. It just didn't work for me. I know what they were
Mhm.
trying to do. I know the character that they were trying to get across, even though I don't have like the education on the lore like you guys do. It was just a miss for me. And I thought because he was the main character, and I felt he was the only character that you needed to get right from at least like characterization and acting perspective.
Yeah.
Whereas all the other characters are straight up just like video game characters. They all do cool stuff, but I don't think necessarily any of them required like what Johnny
Yeah.
Cage required. And I just didn't feel like I got all of that from him. Like, because really I left the movie, really would have preferred to follow Liu Kang for most of the movie if I had it my way. So yeah, so I think those are my thoughts. I probably overall give it a 6 out of 10. And it's one other thing I want to say, and it's going to be great to get the viewpoints. Obviously, James is a hardcore diehard.
Mhm.
I think like it can get tricky when you because obviously like you have the community and the community can be very loud. Of course, they were very, very loud about their hatred for Cole Young. And
Yes.
while I think that they still was able to execute like his death and also like really listen to like what the community was saying, like, hey, we don't want this guy. It still
Mhm.
felt odd, to build up like this main character in the first one and then just do away with him in the second. Again, me as a casual, like I know, like James, I know you loved it,
Yes.
but me as a casual,
Yes.
it seemed a bit off. But again, I'm the casual. So yeah, I guess those are all
Yeah.
my thoughts. Josh, did I answer all your questions?
Yeah. No, I think you did a great job. James, going on over to you. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, so I guess I'd say of the group, I'm the resident Mortal Kombat head here. But yeah, I actually really enjoyed this movie. It's hard in this day and age to do good video game movies, and we just had Super Mario,
Odyssey.
yeah, and then we also just had the Silent Hill sequel that came out. So we're
Hmm.
talking about two vastly different ends of the video game movie spectrum within the last
Hmm.
5 years or so. This, for me, I think just hit all the boxes in terms of what I, as a Mortal Kombat fan, want from a Mortal Kombat movie. A lot of the first movie, I think, had a lot of the bricks and the foundation to build upon to the movie that we really wanted, which would have been this one, which I wish this was the first movie. I wish we were following Johnny Cage initially. We did not need the Cole Young character from the first movie to be the audience intro into the world of Mortal Kombat because you have Johnny Cage.
Hmm.
Um, but in terms of favorite scene, it's going to be the Cole Young death scene, and specifically when he gets his body mopped off the bridge by by Shao Kahn's hammer.
Hmm.
The main thing that I love about this movie, not getting into specific scenes because we'll do that later on as we all talk about it, is how this movie captures the feeling of playing the newer Mortal Kombat games and the Injustice Gods Among Us games in terms
Yeah.
of you have characters talking with their very thin plot development, and then it just gets into a fight. And then
Yeah.
as you play the game, okay, the fight transfers right into like another story segment, and then boom, here we into another fight again. And this movie felt just like that, complete with the widescreen going in for the one fight with Baraka and Johnny Cage. I loved it. I wish they used it more, and I wish it actually
Exactly. That's my point. Yeah. I
was
hear you.
cooler. But just the fact that they had that, and a lot of the moves being done in terms of like Jade being glowing in green when she does her kick, all just taken right out of the game. And even if you didn't know the games, you'll be like, this is a really cool. This is a really cool fight scene. Um,
Hmm.
Negatives, they're gonna have I have a lot of them. Johnny Cage, I agree, I feel was miscast. I get the aging actor viewpoint, but or the vision they were going for with him, but I think he was
Hmm.
just the wrong actor to carry that out. Katana, I think I'd argue was the co-lead of this movie. She had the
Yep.
very standard kind of hero for revenge type of story.
Yeah.
I enjoyed
Kill
it,
my family. Yeah.
but it didn't move the needle for me. To echo Ken's point, and I think probably the entire Mortal Kombat fandom, I'm pretty sure 90% of them are like, why are we not having Liu Kang be our main character for the three movies? What are we doing here?
Yeah.
You have your main character on the sideline for the first movie. He's more in this one, but then they do some trickery with him to like I don't know, send him off to like a spin-off movie or whatever the heck they're gonna try to do with the whole Kung Lao thing. Scorpion and Noobs are, I'm sorry, he's not, they don't call him Noob in this. Bihan, uh, I think they were just thrown in here to be fan service. You don't need them in here. As cool as it was to see them fight, I think they were done much better in the first movie. And yeah, I think I give this a 9 out of 10.
Awesome. Yeah, so a little bit on my background. So I know a decent amount about Mortal Kombat. I grew up on Tekken with me and my family playing that on PlayStation 1. I was a little kid. Forrest Law was my main character. I know us as a group, we've had some battles inside the jail cell of Ken's room with like 22 different dudes in there trying to play Marvel versus Capcom and stuff like that on the little arcade system. Been amazing times of our lives. No AC, no fan on. Everybody's sweating it out
In a
as we
four by
played
four
at least,
room.
yes, at least a 57 person tournament with best two out of threes and a lot of things going, a lot of matches in a very small room with a lot of former athletes and bigger people in general.
Mm.
in that tiny ass room. But so I know a decent amount. Injustice was like a good story. I know Ken knows a good amount about Injustice as well, in terms of the story and everything, and that kind of echoed as some of the same creators that did a lot of the Mortal Kombat games, if I'm right, James. Um, I think for the movie, so similarly to what Ken's saying, like the fighting and the fatalities and the pacing of that, like James had stated, I think they did a really good job on that. I think they really uh, video game or played to the video game when it came to the fatalities. But then that kind of comes into my cons as well as the use of the theme and then the stylized intro that they had for Liu Kang versus Baraka, I thought could have been more staples. Like just I think if they'd just done more of that, that's
Mhm.
not overindulging on that when you're already doing it for like fatalities and stuff and really give it that video game stylization to capture the fans more in the fights to just show those little bits of like okay like we're back in the game just from a movie perspective. um and then my standout scene was when they get into the palace and Liu Kang is about to um take in our where's he at, our Shao Kahn, right in front of the throne, and he brings up the dragons that wrap around the pillars behind him. I thought was awesome, and the lighting and everything there was really cool. Um, so that was definitely my favorite scene. And but what I really think that they missed upon was like just some of the choices. I think I don't know, this is just my perspective, but I guess casting like Liu Kang as the main character with his name and stuff may have not gone over well for them and their choices of wanting to reach out like as a movie made in the US. So they give a character with the name Cole Young out there to try and carry that. And it just didn't work out. That's why I feel like a lot of more of the veteran fans appreciated when he died off because he was such a waste of screen time in the first movie. So to see him get kind of the send off that he did, I felt like that was really good. And I'm not super into Mortal Kombat myself, but yeah, I really feel like they need to like lean into. There's nothing wrong with leaning into the main character of the franchise, even if the name in terms of the movie and from like other perceptions would think that that wouldn't necessarily hit as a main character, which is what I think, just in my understanding of my opinion of their choice behind that. But it was good to see them kind of walk that back, kind of similarly to like Sonic redesigning Sonic himself to look better and listening to the feedback. Here in the second movie, you get to see him get killed off, which pleased a lot of those veteran fans. And then also too another small decision, like to me, Katana, like in my brief understanding, when I saw her kind of become a hero in the beginning, I just felt like she was more of a villain the whole time and part of like the dark side of Mortal Kombat, so to speak. So seeing her play like this hero role and her interest, like I didn't think I that really fit that well. But then yeah, you start going like through the characters in terms of like the amount of screen time that they shared and their interactions and their fights, I think was perfectly balanced. So all that together, I'd probably give it a 6 out of 10 overall. As a decent movie, as a six for me. And my question to the team is, what was, and James kind of already answered this, but when I kind of go into more, is the fatalities. What was everybody's favorite fatality? Um, Mine definitely, like I think they saved the best one for last. I think Katana's spinning fans was the best, but I know there's been some talk on
Very
between
accurate.
us in terms of what are some of the other top fatalities.
You know, that's probably my favorite fatality too, because I think with a movie like this, because what it takes inspiration from, for me, if you get the fatality right, I'm
Yeah,
gonna buy into the character. Like besides
yeah,
Johnny Cage, we need more from him. But like, so for me, Katana was like up in the air. But until
yeah,
that fatality at the end, I'm like, okay, like all right, I'm
yeah.
good.
That's
Like
fair.
this
Yeah,
character works for me. So like but to add something new to this,
yeah.
again, Johnny Cage is how he defeated like or won his 1v1 earlier in the movie when they played the Mortal Kombat theme with just the
Hmm.
theatrical elements to it
Yeah,
was pretty cool. And like that was pretty cool for the character. Again, like I thought there were some cool things that they tried to do with the character that just didn't work, but I actually liked that. And I would put that in my as my second favorite. It's not a fatality, but it's theatrical.
Yeah.
It's just it's not it's yes, it's an act, but it felt like theater, and it just I don't know. It was so distinct from everyone else, which is like all these cool fatalities, whereas he was just again like an actor, and that's the point. So yeah, but that's what it'd be for me.
Yeah, too, Ken, like a little bit on the background too. There's when you're doing like the ending move in Mortal Kombat, there's other things that aren't fatalities, like the joke stuff, like I think it's like babality, where you can like turn
Yep.
the other character into a
Yep.
baby. There's like mercy and other things. So there's other
Friendship.
ways to end it. Yeah, friendship. Friendship, which is like perfect, would have been perfect, like as an add-in of the sound effect in the background from somebody or something like that.
Mhm.
James, what
Great
about you?
point.
What other things stand out from the fatalities?
It'll be Liu Kang essentially using Kung Lao's own fatality on him, where with the spinning
Yeah.
hat where it's on the floor, and then
Hmm.
he just pulls. I love that whole fight. I know we're talking about fatalities, but it's in literally a stage taken from the Mortal Kombat game. The cinematography in this movie also incredible. I thought it was very good in the first movie too. This is a director who's it's his first time doing a movie. Well, technically this is
Okay.
his second one time. Really good eye for viewpoints, and then to tie this into the fatalities,
Yeah.
really good eye in terms of showing us like how these fatalities work and not making it seem so cheesy.
Yeah,
Because these
Hmm.
are
I agree.
very cheesy video games and outlandish and out there moves and fights and stuff. So the fact that we can translate it's translated as well as it is onto the screen, yeah, that I'd say
James,
chef's
James,
kiss.
who's your character? Who do you play as in like
Sub-Zero. Sub-Zero and
Sub
Jade.
Zero?
So Jade is another one that I felt very I think she was miscast. It could be me though, just being a fan and having my expectations set so high that I was
Hmm.
like, oh, that's not, the Jade I know, or that's not, in the game. But I have to remember this is a movie, so these are going to be different adaptations of these characters, and it has to translate to a wider audience. Liu Kang was awesome.
Yeah. Ken, I know you're not into Mortal Kombat, but who do you play as in fighting games? Who's your
Well, so
character?
in Mortal Kombat,
Oh, okay.
uh, no, no. Well, when I
A little
watched the
bit.
first one, if I were
Uh-huh.
to ever play
Oh, that's
as
a good
a
question. Yep.
character, it would have been Sub-Zero, no doubt.
Yeah.
Not to steal what James just already said, but yeah, like it's because I mean, for me, as being a casual, which characters inspire me to want to go into that world and get the video game and play as that character? It was Sub-Zero. None of the other characters I cared
Yeah.
about playing as. So
And I think that that's the cool perspective for a little bit of me and a lot of James and a lot of the diehard fans out there. You have a history with that game going into this. So you already have preconceived notions on who you want to star or play out. You know, if you're playing one of the main ones, um, versus you Ken is you're deriving a lot of your connection to the character from the movie that you're watching in front of you because you don't have that hundreds on thousands of hours that we can invest into these games, which is another reason why they could play that theme every second of the movie, and I feel like that would
I
just translate appropriately to the fans. Or
hope they
just have
use it.
Scorpion say "Get over here" 1,000 times, and nobody's gonna be like mad about that because that's exactly what we've been hearing for all these years since the what 80s and 90s when these have been coming out. So on that note, yeah, 90s, yeah. Um, and that note for me is probably it's funny. It's Scorpion. So I just love that tie-in that like Ken's talking about from the first movie. So we have Scorpion and Sub-Zero, and those are our two choices for like the fight scenes, which I felt like they nailed really well in terms of kind of ironing out the storyline to Ken's point. Um, but yeah, besides that, like any of these characters did we feel like weren't used appropriately
Yeah, Shao Kahn
or
we could
like
have
didn't
used
have
more
enough in their
of.
fight scenes, I should say. Go
Uh,
ahead.
thank you, James. Thank
Shao
you,
Kahn
James.
is the emperor of Outworld. He is essentially the Palpatine of this universe. And I
Yeah.
like it. This is a point that I brought up. I like that they use him in the lore of Mortal Kombat. He's the emperor, but he's getting down and dirty in the tournament that is deciding the fate of all the other Outworld and all the other worlds out there.
Yeah.
Uh, and I wish he was very dominant. He was very, they showcased his power. He dispatched a few of our characters here.
I have a quick question, James. James,
Yeah.
really quickly. When he janitor broom mops up Cole's body into the acid, can that count as part of the fatality, or is it just the head smash?
I mean, I'm sure putting that in, if you watch any of these Mortal Kombat fatalities, they get super
Uh-huh.
in depth. So I'd say that counts as part
Okay.
of the fatality because it's
Okay.
overkill and then a little bit of overkill on top of that.
Okay. Yeah. That's my favorite one. Because
Yeah,
I thought
yeah.
that, to me, I watched it and I was like, okay, the head smash is the fatality and the extra was like the movie. But if you're saying that's part of the fatality, then I'll take
They
that
always,
one
yeah, they always have
over
like
Katana.
we gotta check out one of these clips of just all the different Mortal Kombat fatalities, especially in this last game that came out.
Hmm.
Yeah, like I said, it's overkill, and then they throw in a little bit more overkill on top of it just
Yeah.
because. Six tours, motherfucker. There's not going to be a seventh, so you know.
Yes, Jax is
My thing
dead.
with Shao Kahn,
Hmm.
because I know he won his first 1v1 for like that
Yeah.
town and for those people. And then he was really doing well for the entire movie with like that god power. But I mean, he lost his 1v1 without it to his adopted daughter. I just wanted, I
Yeah.
mean, again, you guys know the lore better than me. I was just maybe hoping that we could see him kind of whip some ass
A little,
without
Hmm.
that power. Like whereas like Thanos, like even though like that's how Infinity War opens with him putting it on Hulk, which I guess like this opened with Shao Kahn, like in a really cool 1v1 without the powers. But then in
Yeah.
Avengers Endgame, like you get to see Thanos really like whooping ass the entire movie like without the powers. But I guess that's two-parter, so it's not really the same. But I would have liked because these other characters seem to do okay against him with like that power up. So I know James leaned over and told me this is like the guy in Mortal Kombat. So to see
yeah,
him lose to his daughter at the end, when he didn't have his
yeah.
power, I was kind of disappointed. But
I
yeah,
feel yeah, it's kind of a little bit. I get it. I get it for the story and the vision. They want to showcase his character journey for Katana, but you killed her sister in the first movie, so you don't get that.
Hmm.
They have to replace her with Jade, I guess, in here to be the friend. Speaking of Shao Kahn, why is Shang Tsung even in this movie? Like, how did he come back to life? How like what are we? But again,
Because he
it's a
wasn't the
video game.
necromancer. Yeah, he wasn't the necromancer, right? It was the other
Oh, Quan
guy.
Chi, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
You're right.
Quan Chi
You're
was
right.
the necromancer. So he is this. I don't know.
It's all
Be
over the
like it.
place, but that's exactly how
Yeah.
Mortal Kombat is. This isn't going to be Lord of the Rings,
Yeah.
and it's not trying to be. Liu Kang, my other like to your the question about the character that was
Fade it
missing.
out.
Yeah, I need more Liu Kang, man. Like I said, he's not even my favorite character in the lore, but like he is like that. Like he's the guy. This
Yeah,
is
the
our main.
dragons are a part of the symbol, the
Yeah,
logo. You know.
he is our main character, and you have to have respect for the strong main character.
Yeah.
This movie franchise doesn't seem to be pushing, they're giving us main characters that they're killing in the next movie in 2 minutes into the movie. So,
Yeah.
which I'm okay with for Cole Young, but yeah.
But yeah, with that, I think a good question for our viewers is if you guys would like to put your level of history with Mortal Kombat along with your thoughts on the movie down below. Love to see more perspectives on this. And then two, if you'd like to support, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel. Catch us in the next one as we'll be going over Punisher One Last Kill. Thank you.